Hey everyone, this is Ashwin and welcome to the next installment of the Java Core series. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we will need to start the development with Java. Okay. So the first thing you need is the Java JDK. That is the Java development kit. It is maintained by Oracle and they're normally the company who's responsible for Java. Initially it was Sun Microsystems, but after Oracle took over, now it's them. So we'll go over to the Oracle website and grab the JDK. So let's do that. So I've already got it open. And you can see here we're on the Oracle website, and that is the development kit downloads page. So we're going to grab the one for Windows 64-bit because that's the system I'm on. If you're on a Windows 32-bit, it's high time you get a Windows 64-bit, but if you are, get this one. If you're on a Mac, you get that one, and you get the gist. So just go ahead and download it, and make sure you click on the accept license, which I've already done here, and download that. So once you have that ready, you can go ahead and install it. So I'm just going to grab the download, and we have it right here, and I'm going to go ahead and install this anyway. I have one previous version that I've been working on, but I'll get this one since it's the latest. So now that we have the JDK installed, we're just going to quickly go ahead and add that to our environment path so that our computer knows where our JDK is located. So I'm just going to say environment, edit the system environment variables, click on that. And there is a way to do this via the command line, but we're just going to keep it simple and nice and easy. So we're going to use the GUI for many things. Most things. So as you can see, what we need to do is in the system variables, you can put it in your user variables. I have it in my system variables, it just saves me a lot of time. I've got the Java home here. So Java underscore home. So the way you do it is you create a new variable, put the name as Java underscore home, and put the variable value as C program files, Java JDK, whichever one you've installed. So that's the normal path. So just put that in. And once you've done that, what you need to go ahead and do is add the reference to Java home in your path. So that is where the actual environment path is. So the way you do that is here. Let's add, go ahead and say new. And we'll add a reference to that variable this way. There we go. And that's done. And we can say OK. And we'll say OK. So now that we're done with that, what we're going to check is whether we have actually got Java installed. And to do that, what we'll quickly do is go onto our command lines, which is your CMD or and click open file locate. Just click on it. And what you'll do is you'll say Java-version to check whether you got it. And you can see the Java version I have is 1.8.0_111, which is the one that we just installed. So now that we have checked our version, let's go ahead and maybe start to develop our first program. So let's go ahead and create, maybe move to desktop. I'm going to quickly move to desktop, and then I'll make a new directory, call it maybe Java Basics, and cd into Java Basics. Basics, and let's just check whether there's anything in there. Yep, there's nothing. So once we're done that, now I want to maybe open up that folder. So let's just say start dot, and we can see that Java Basics is open and it has nothing. So let's revert back to our command line, and let's go ahead and say ABC in first Java program dot Java. Oops, that's an error because this needs to be maybe a string. Okay, let's just. Okay, it's there. All right. Well, that's weird. All right. And yeah. Okay, it's there. Sweet. So let's actually move back to our folder, and you can see that it's there. Now we're gonna put our first program in there, and you have a couple of choices with your text editors. Right now, my default here is Notepad, but you guys can go ahead and use either Notepad. So Notepad++, by the way, not Notepad. Notepad is not recommended, but Notepad++, Code, that's Visual Studio Code, Sublime Text, Atom, Brackets, or any code editor or any sort of text editor even, right? So get any one of those. I'm going to use Code, and the way I'm going to do that is, the good thing is Visual Studio Code works very nicely with Windows because it's created by Microsoft. So I'm just going to use that, and I'm going to say Code. I'm going to say first Java program.java. So what this will do is, if you have Code installed, by the way, I will provide the links below for Code. And if you do that, you can go. Interesting. What's with that? And okay, let's just do that. Code. Huh. Why is that not taking it? So I just figured out the problem. Actually, the Microsoft VS Code directory wasn't actually added to my path. So once I've added that to the path, it works. Maybe it won't work in this one still. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and start a new one, start a new shell. So we'll just say CMD again, and I'm gonna just quickly do that Java basics. Let's go there. So now we're there, dir, and you can see our first Java programs there. So if we do code first, whatever, that should open up in our Visual Studio Code. So there we have it. Our Visual Studio Code is open, but now it has a little updates for you, so you can get rid of those. And let's go ahead and write our first program. So the first thing you got to do is create a class with the same name as your compilation unit, or whatever you want to call it. So your file, program, and there you go. Now, also another thing is that here I've named the file, our class and our file with a small letter at the start. That's never how classes work. Classes are always capitals at the start. So that's a little mistake that we gotta just be careful about next time. But let's go ahead and create our first method. So we'll say, and I'll explain this as we go, but for now, just bear with me. Main, and the main needs an argument of string array args, and we'll say system.out.println and the traditional hello world. There we go. And that is it. That's our first program. So let's go ahead and save that and try and compile it. So the way we do that is we'll revert back to our command prompt. So let's go there, and Control C. Control C gets you out of code, so you can see that the code window is closed now. And what we'll do now is we'll say Java C, which is the Java compiler, first program.java. So let's try and do that. Oops, my bad, sorry, I forgot one more thing. We actually have to quickly just go back to our environment path. So you click the edit the system environment variables, click on that, get that open, go to environment variables. And what we also need to add in our path is the binary location for our JDK. So quickly we can do that by saying java_home, which is the location for the JDK, and the binaries would be in \bin. There we go. Okay. And now we've got to obviously start again, so we'll just close that and go in here and say CMD again, desktop Java basics. Now let's try that again. Java C oops, first program.java. And there you go. I'm pretty sure it's done. If we want to check it out, we can say dir, and you can see that we have a .class program here, which means it's worked. So I'll explain all of this in maybe the next video, but for now, let's just try and get something running. So the next thing we got to do is say Java first program, and now we don't need to do any dots, so just first Java program, that's it. And let's try and run that, and there we go, that's our first program. Hello world. So I'll explain this in the next video, just quickly about .classes, .java, and what the compile time means, what execution means, what runtime means, and maybe those little things about how Java really is working. But for now, that is your first program. This is Ashwin signing off.